curious about how you think about discipline. Obviously, military background is like, that's one of the first words that I associate with the military is discipline. How do you, like, whether it was that or sort of other experiences you've had in your life, like how have you developed and thought about that kind of sort of like rigor and discipline that you, I mean, it really seems like you're applying that to every aspect of this, being thoughtful, not making a rash decision, but also to your point, like not taking zero risk. So how do you think about finding that line, and how do you think about that in terms of your, how did you learn to do that, I guess?
So, I mean, I'm a true alcoholic. Like, I am not naturally disciplined. I'm naturally impulsive. I am naturally risk-seeking. I'm naturally self-destructive. Those are my default mode. A lot of people come out of the Army or go into the Army and they are disciplined, or they become disciplined, and then they like take that through the rest of their lives. That wasn't my story. My story was one where I didn't have organization, I didn't have discipline. I thrived in the Army because it was that, and it forced that upon me. And then when I got out, I again didn't have it. And so for me, I have to consciously add discipline. And part of that for me is like just working an AA program. I've noticed that helps me. It's measuring things that most people don't measure. Like, I can tell you that my average steps per day on my Apple Watch is somewhere between 6,075 and 6,100 right now, like at this very moment. I know exactly what that is. I know exactly how much sleep I'm getting. I know exactly what I'm doing in the gym. Like, I measure these things now, because if I don't measure them, I can't manage them. And so that discipline I find when I exercise that in my life, and then I try to extend that to the business and say, okay, I need to focus on this because it's a shortcoming of mine. It's not a focus area because it comes naturally to me, but I know how important it is. So I try to measure everything.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's really interesting, especially as you sort of think about applying that to the business. In small businesses generally, data-driven decision-making is both not always as necessary, because the decision maker has much more their finger on the pulse of everything that's happening, and also harder because you just don't have the infrastructure to collect data. I'm wondering how that journey has been for you since sort of the very beginning, and like, as you've grown, especially managing locations now in multiple geographies, how have you applied that sort of like data infrastructure, data mindset, and the discipline around that to the business?
I mean, the good thing about all of us in this industry is that we have 90% of our operations housed within electronic medical records. Invariably, our entire business is measurable. Most of it, right? You might have something like admin staff and BD or outside that, right? In a lot of ways. But all of our clinical work is inside the EMR. And so there is an amount of upfront work that you have to do potentially to be able to get insights out of that and dashboards, and get those dashboards going to the right people on the right cadence. But compared to other small businesses that don't have that luxury forced upon them of having to use a central data clearinghouse for everything, it's not so hard for us. And having the MBA skill set, and I didn't mention I worked at Bain & Company for 2 years as a strategy consultant where everything was data. I already have that mindset of measure things. And then on top of that, now we have this kind of easy button of the EMR to be able to extrapolate data from. I mean, whether you use Kipu or Aliva or Lightning Step or whoever you use, almost all of them have management dashboards that you can then modify and adjust. And so putting that work up front to do that, then you don't have to touch it and you can just manage through it. So for me, it wasn't so hard to get the data ready. But again, I'm a little predisposed to that. So maybe it's a little easier for me than most people.
I guess the question that I have for you about that is, how much of that did you end up doing, or at least directing yourself, versus how much of it was either available off the shelf or other folks in the organization ended up sort of contributing to or helping to build?
I'd say at least 60% of it was probably off the shelf. 25% of it was me, and 15% of it was my other leadership team. But I think that had I not had the skill sets to do it, you could still come up with a pretty good answer by leaning on the EMR people that are supposed to be helping you.
Right. There's an 80-20 rule there.
Yeah, you could get 80% real quick.